do want to say hello, and try to dive in a reading and, flex my, what is it? My commitment and my devotion to myself, to, you know, doing stuff that is spiritually filling as well as moving in this realm, the physical realm, where you have to do things and go there and go there. I have a lot of commitments these days, so I will try to make this a priority as much as I can. So yeah, thank you for continuing to watch the videos, continuing to subscribe. Okay, and thank you for just being here again. So the deck that I have is, I want to make sure you can see this deck because it is a it's like more of a, let me know if you can hear me well this one. But yeah, it's more of a portal deck. It's like gateway of like activation. So look at this, every card on the back has like a portal, and it's really just about what sort of activation is currently permeating the energy, right? To anyone who is open and available to tapping into, what's available for all of us at any given time. So the first one here is the crown chakra. The crown, I keep saying that. I really named it after this crown chakra as well, just because I, think that's something that's definitely needed. Your crown is what keeps your head on straight, so to speak, right? And it really, it's the way that you lead all things in your life. So I think that's very important. And so it says divine connection, holy experiences, and miraculous energy. Miraculous. All of that. We need all of that, right? So the crown energy is the center found at the top of the head, often symbolized as a 1,000-petaled lotus. It governs our connection to wisdom, both internal and that of source. Opening the crown chakra represents connecting deeply with the heart of source and drawing down inspiration and insight. So this card it's actually pretty funny because the, energy of this card is to transport you to a sacred hall with pillars representing the divine connections to source and a gateway that is guarded by a white dove. So you can kind of see that in the card. Like you can see like the pillars if you look. There's like pillars there, pillars on there, and it's like guided by the dove that's in the middle. But it's funny because it's also the house of learning, right? That came out. So that's why I said it's like pretty funny that two halls and hallways and like gateways is there. But yes, it's this one in particular is a source and a gateway that is guarded by a white dove, symbolizing Holy Spirit. So it may seem as though there's another realm or dimension. Ultimately, all of that is found within, right? We are all facets of the Holy Spirit incarnate. So this card is really just telling you to come home to yourself. This card, I hear people doing that in ASMR, but it's really about comb. So they say like comb. So I just got that when I did the card. But yes, so it's saying to really connect with this is like visualizing the top of your head opening up and bursting with infinite clear and rainbow light. You can kind of see that on the card too with the colors once I picked it up. To visualize the streams of consciousness that's pouring into you so you can really open your ear and listen to it deeply in whatever you're doing to be successful. We all know we need that, deeper stream of consciousness that's like flowing into you, and that's not. So I think of like our limitations that we have for ourselves as like huge boulders in the stream of consciousness. So the only thing that you're job is to let the, consciousness stream over the boulder and have the boulder dissolved. That's how rocks in the sea, that's how they get so smooth, because like the water is rushing over them, and slowly, little by little, it rounds it and it shapes it, because water is like a powerful force, right? So the message with this card is, your crown chakra has been upgraded, and the spiritual connections you have always had are now being acknowledged. The parts of yourself that you have run from or ignored are now being reclaimed. And this is an important time for you to uncover your gifts and your own wisdom and move through so that you can heal. So you may have had experiences or moments that have tested your faith and your belief in the divine. So right now is the time to know that it's okay, and know that there's no real grievances being held against you, because we all, are tested in that same way. And of course, no one who really has been through anything can blame you for, questioning your faith, because it's something that is unseen. It's not, you know, unheard of to question things that you can't see, because we're in such a limited position here on earth. So that's what I would say, give yourself grace. Even if you're like, oh, for a time you stop believing in yourself, or you stop believing in your ultimate connection, giving yourself grace and acknowledging that it's fine to, get back into that flow, get back into that stream, and let it wash over you. And you don't have to hold even past things that you did against yourself, right? So the House of Learning card, it is very I like that these came out together, actually, because the House of Learning is about spirit guides, confirmation, and great lessons. Yes. So the House of Learning is also known as the Great Halls, and it's an etheric retreat dedicated to spiritual knowledge. And they are like a training space for all souls, including those on earth, right? So spiritual guides and all those between lives, they have visited, and by many spiritual seekers, seers, mediums over the years, they have described as a giant, somewhat gothic university building with marble flooring, spiral staircases, and tall bookcases. And some have said the halls are home to the Akashic records, right? So that type of energy is just like that. All knowledge, a place where all knowledge is stored and can be obtained by anyone who is, venturing, let's say, venturing there, right? So, while ultimately this etheric retreat, we can call it, is like an ancient mystery school, and it is very powerful for those who are opening up their, abilities, whether it be psychic or clairvoyant, whatever ability. And, if this is coming up to you in this reading and you're attracted to this, it brings confirmation that your gifts are strengthening. Like, also the idea of any ancient mystery school in the astral realms, if it seems familiar to you, there's a good chance that you have been there when you've been dreaming or in between incarnations, so these great halls are held within the heart of Source and are a projection of the divine mind's infinite intelligence. So when we visit them, we are connecting directly to the wisdom of Source. So it's kind of great that the crown chakra upgrade and the House of Learning came out in the same reading, because it's like, when you open your mind, there's a lot more wisdom in things that you may have called, let's say, foolish before, or, may have dismissed. Things like that can now like open up to you and, give you new insights, give you, different things like that. So the connection here is, think about a challenging time or a lesson that you have faced or are facing, and say, things like, Source and wisdom keepers, thank you for revealing to me the pattern, trauma, or wound that has created this lesson, so I can heal it once and for all, and then allow that wisdom, and that's the thing I said in the last card, really about, not holding previous things that you have done or have not done against yourself, and allowing, whatever wound, whatever this is trying to teach you, why it keeps coming up again and again, or why you keep thinking about it and ruminating and, wanting freedom from it, is because it keeps coming up. So, allowing yourself to have that ability to heal the confirmation, the lessons that you are going through, right? So your message here is like you're on a spiritual path to great learning, and spiritual beings are drawing close to you. If you are facing challenges or difficult circumstances, or if you have moved through such any times like that, you are being called to review what you've learned about yourself. And if you're still feeling, let's say, overwhelmed by a certain event, or just asking why it's happening, you can call on this energy, the energy of wisdom, the source energy that knows like why certain things happen even when we don't have the answers. And just call to see what is it revealing to you about yourself, or about the things that what this trauma may have created a pattern or a wound in you that is contributing to this challenge. So if you aren't experiencing like challenge energy as well, the reason that you've made huge progress on your spiritual journey so much is that you have perspective, and your perspective has shifted so that you can view every challenge as a window of opportunity. So the halls of learning gateway indicates that your spiritual gifts are developing at this time. So that's very good energy, just because we all have things where we're like, I'm not sure about the things that I've done, or, trying to give yourself permission to forgive yourself. And that's where I think the last card comes in, where it says Heart of Source, and it's saying all encompassing love. So the unconditional acceptance and serenity, right? So the source of the universe is a gigantic heart. It beats out, and its beats are angels and beings of light. So it is what many call God. It's love that is beyond gender and dogma. It is the infinite experiencing infinity. It's all that was or and ever will be. So it's love being love and expressing love. It's an energy that can be explained but never fully comprehended. Is where we have all come from and all will return. The strangest part of all is that we've never left. Even though we are, where we are now, we still have never left, because it's more energetic anyway. So we are spiritual beings, so spiritual beings are having a, human experience, and we may feel that source is separate from us, but the truth is we are always connected, even when we feel we are not. So this gateway takes us upward, but not upward, rather inward, right? So it is through the gateway that reminds us, through the stargate of our heart, that we are connected to the heart of creation. Not only that, but we exist and express ourselves within that heart. We're still living there, even though we may be on planet Earth. That energy is like permeating throughout the whole universe, throughout everything that's created, really. So just connecting to that. And your message with this card is you are connecting directly with the heart of source and the creator of life and love. You are blessed to receive this card, for it shows up when your heart is being filled with love until it overflows. And that divine energy that is with you now is helping you melt away any blockages so that you could be open to love, acceptance, and appreciation that you deserve. You are being encouraged to view yourself in a living way and give yourself permission to be loved. If you have been holding back for a while, but you are now ready to share the love you have within, this card lets you know it's safe to do so. You are loving, you are loved, and you're lovable. Step forward to claim your worth and enjoy a new level of spiritual openness. You are truly blessed. I like that card with the other two as well, just because it's like holding on to things that you've done in the past. Let's say we could say, holding on to things that you've done in the past could be the same experience of, not forgiving yourself and not fully loving yourself. If you're going to, hold things against yourself, that is a clear and a telltale sign that you are harboring. I like the card that's on the bottom of this, so I'm gonna like pull it in just a second. But that's like a telltale sign that you are, just harboring things that should be let go of, right? And it's important for us, if you can't forgive, even if it's like not something that you did directly, something that was done to you, forgiving others is like a part of, letting go and allowing yourself to be freed, because you can't, stand there holding on to what another person has done either. It's not healthy for you. And that we got the card of number 2 of swords, which is all about balance, choices, difficult decisions, compromise, and inner conflict. So I would say that too about, not forgiving yourself or not forgiving another. It causes inner conflict where, you're not moving ahead, and, it's only holding you back, even if you are thinking like, well, I'm not going to forgive this person for this, that, and the third. Is really just not saying that you have to have a physical talk with them in order to, let things go, but that is, I just broke the deck in half. And this is the card that's here. That came up in the middle, which is hardship, poverty, insecurity, need, isolation. So, that energy of staying, it says staying in lack mentality can manifest unwanted desires, so change is necessary. So, you may not think too much of you holding on to things, but it does truly affect your own outcomes, because the way you look at things is all you have to live and, quite frankly, die by. So allow learning, allow, your own upgrade, allow for your own experiences to, your new experiences to color your life instead of your past ones. Let's get some cards. Let me do that again. Okay, let me shuffle. First card there is the 7 of Pentacles. Two flipped out, so I'm just gonna take them. Okay, so we have the 7 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the 6 of Wands. So I would say, looking just at the Pentacles coming out, is like the things that you invest in is the things that will come back to you in the long term, right? So that's what I was saying about, holding on to things. It can really just be on to your detriment. When we look at the 2 of Swords, it's like holding those swords and finding a way to hold on to them. You go from the handle and then you try to let it go a little bit. Then you go to the, let's say, the sword part, and just holding on to things. It's really holding on to things that aren't helpful for you. It really does you no benefit at all. So, finding a way to invest in something different, invest in something better. And even when we look at the crown chakra upgrade, which is the 7 of Pentacles coming out on, is like investing in yourself has the ultimate benefit. Investing in your mental, where did I get this from? It's like an investigation show. It calls it like the mental palace, your mental palace. Investing in your own mental palace is for your ultimate benefit, right? Because you are clearing out and cleaning out the cobwebs of your mind, of the things that you no longer need, and, you know, just allowing yourself to do better for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not holding on to things just because of another person. So this card in particular isn't like a card of short term or instant gratification, really, but it's like putting in structures that will have lasting benefits. So doing things that you, small actions right now, small repeatable actions right now that you can take that will ultimately have a very long benefit for you. And that's one of the things that I would say, you know, is healthy for anybody who wants a crown chakra upgrade. It's not about, you know, having some huge experience right now. That's really not the most realistic thing, and a lot of times people will reject that, or, you know, just push it off as a dream or whatever. So the best thing that you can do, the reason why this card is coming out with the crown chakra upgrade, is like doing things every day, bite-sized things, let's say, every day, that really actually help and improve your long-term vision. Doing something that, you know, is a positive sign that you have planted seeds. So plant your seeds, and, you know, doing beginning, okay, let's say creating the action that you can do every day, and then actually doing the action over time is like the watering of those seeds. So the planting is the, you know, digging up the ground, planting them, and then actually going through with it every day. And, you know, a lot of these actions can be things that take you 3 minutes, like, you know, self-care in the morning, in the mirror, affirmations, whatever like that. Those are things that you've planted, and you will be able to have that abundance in your future. And really, of course, we know time is now and now and now and now. So when you do that in the moment, every moment that you do it further is just like increasing your abundance. It's a blooming your abundance, you know, and all you have to do is tend to those seeds, and soon you'll be reaping the rewards of all of your hard work. And if you run into little obstacles, this card is a card of what? Perseverance, patience, waiting, and being a long-term investor in your own vision, right? So after all, you are in this for the long haul. Like, so this card is about, you know, just working on yourself and being focused on yourself. So some affirmations, or some, let's say, activities that you could do for this card is, you know, for your mind, is speak positive affirmations out loud. And like I did mention, the mirror, it can be very helpful. You know, to look into the mirror and say things that you know, I'm worthy of abundance, I am powerful, I am loved, things like that. Is little things that you could do. Take 5 seconds, less than a minute, you know, while you're washing your face, doing things like that. That's also a good thing for your body, you know, not just the physical things that you eat, as well as, you know, the things that you are, the things that you are consuming, the way you detox yourself, things like that. So what goes in comes out, obviously. So, you know, making sure that you're conscious of that. And also your spirit, you know, be more conscious of the impact of, you know, any purchases that you've been making in your environment, or, you know, things of that nature. It's like, what are you investing in? Like, if you're spending money on things, what are you're showing by what you spend money on, by what you pay attention to, you're showing what you're investing in. So making sure that you are always aware, always aware of, you know, what you're bringing in at this time, right? And we have another Pentacles card, which is the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like what really takes place with this card is like, especially this is on the upgrades and the halls of learning. So when you're learning something now, you're making it an immediate investment by the fact that you're learning it now, and continuing with the Seven of Pentacles, continuing to persevere, continuing to water your seeds. That is you making an investment in your future. So these two, I do feel like they go hand in hand, because it's like, you know, nurturing, being practical, investing, perseverance, generosity, waiting, sensuality. Is like, you know, I think about sensuality, it's kind of funny, but it's like waiting, or, you know, not just trying to get to the big O at the end, actually enjoying the pleasure that just comes from, being in the moment. Didn't expect that, but yeah. But the Queen of Pentacles card is like the nurturing, loving figure who provides stability. Usually this stability is financial, of course. But the tarot card, because it's the Pentacle, but it also refers to emotional stability, stability within your home. And this card can be for financial abundance. Of course, the Queen of Pentacles tends to the material needs and wants of anyone. So as this card is represented like by parents or benefactors or bosses, things like that. So this card is like assigned to focus on creating a stable environment within your home, physically and metaphysically, no matter where you live in, who you live with. We all have that ability to, create and be your own person. You know what I mean? That instead of, the reverse of this card is about codependency and neglect and greed and, focusing on what someone else did outwardly instead of focusing on what you can do now. Like, even though this card is about, figures and bosses and all of that, like I just said, ultimately it's like when you take control over your own crown chakra, when you take control over learning, you no longer look at the outside world as withholding something from you and having to get something from the outside world and being at the mercy of another person, like a parent, like a boss, or any benefactors that I mentioned. Really, you look at this as like no one, especially in this day and age with all of the knowledge and the, just with all of that, in this day and age, there's nobody who can keep something from you, right? So this card, some activities you can do is like rewatching a film with a leading character who inspires you, and just finding your favorite fictional Queen of Pentacles. If you feel like, oh, there's no one in my life, even down to the people that I mentioned, there's no one who actually feels like a good role model for the Queen of Pentacles about balance and nurturing and abundance. You can always find those archetypes in movies and things like that. So also with your body, making sure quality sleep. What this card is coming up is telling you, making sure that you are catching all of those Z's that you need, because that's how you will ultimately get up and function. And also with learning, that card came out on the learning card too. So it's like the best time that these things are ingrained, anything that you're learning, the best time that it's ingrained into your mind is when you are asleep at night. So also with your spirit, it's like bringing stability into your home by feng shui, whatever you have in your home, where you're eliminating things that no longer are aligned, and just thoughtfully adding plants or whatever like that to refresh your space, moving things around to make make your place feel more welcoming. If only, of course, if it's to yourself, you want to make sure that you are allowing that. The last card we have is a Six of Wands. This is like the victory card, right? Like a victory lap. The Six of Wands, which is actually, I would say, definitely a card of success. So when you look at the beginning, when you're making an investment, a long-term investment in yourself, and then you're nurturing that investment that you ultimately made by planting those seeds and watering them every day and speaking abundance over your life. That's what it is, by looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I deserve abundance, I am abundant, all of that. The Six of Wands, that's the card that shows you that making that ultimate investment in yourself is like the ultimate version of love. I thought that came out on the heart card because when you're doing this stuff, it's not really just for the material game, you will notice a difference in your mood, your attitudes, and things like that. So, of course, it is important to do. We all want abundance, right? So, of course, it is important to do it for the physical things, but it does take a mental and spiritual effect that is only for your benefit. You know what I mean? So, the Six of Wands is typically signifies that period of victory and, being recognized for your accomplishments. So now is not the time when you actually get to that place where you're like, okay, I have, mind you, it doesn't have to take a long ass time for you to, plant. Like I said, planting the seed is a victory in itself. So celebrating that and celebrating every day you getting up and watering that seed, even though you're like, well, it only takes me 5 seconds to do all these things and whatever like that, is still important because many people are just not doing it. So, you know, that is something that should be celebrated. So you don't have to wait until you reach a destination in order to celebrate. So it says you've accomplished something awesome and you should accept praise for it. And that praise can just come from yourself, being proud of yourself. And this is coming up at a time when this can be coming up at a time where you're feeling low and in need of a self-confidence boost. So this card is definitely assigned to try to celebrate yourself with the positive affirmations like I mentioned, and push off those self-deprecating or negative thoughts out of your head, and give that room to be giving yourself room to bloom, right? So you're planting those seeds and you're allowing yourself to bloom, and you're not, talking over a plant. They actually found that in a scientific study too with the plant. Speaking positive affirmations over the plant made it bloom and grow better. But when they were speaking negative over it, they also saw that the deterioration of the plant that they were speaking negatively over. So it is very important. I'm sure you know that now as well. That the sound and the power in your voice, it's like that has always been one thing that has been pushed. That so it says also, no matter what's going on in your life, this is encouraging and like a congratulations for yourself. There's so much for you to be happy about. No matter what, we all have things that we can look at our lives and find something to be grateful for, happy about, and appreciative of. And that recognition is like inspiration to keep you going. That recognition of your blessings is like more inspiration that, all is not lost, and there's a lot that you need to be grateful for, and that gratitude for what you have, it allows more gratitude. So things you can do mentally is note whatever is making you happiest right now. You could do it in a journal, or just looking around each day, taking literally, there's so many things that you can do that will be less than a minute, just looking around your house and saying the things that you're grateful for. Or when you want to drive to work or whatever, just listen to things in your mind that you're grateful for. So also in your body, find a workout video that you can get up and move to, if not every day, every other day. People really down or don't think about the mind body connection. So if you're not moving your body, then yes, your mental will be, I was about to cut, fuck it. Your mental will be fucked up because you are not using your body, which has a lot of energy, and your brain is also one of the biggest users of energy. But if you're not like walking at the very minimum, or doing any sort of activity that can leak some of that information, your brain obviously is going and going and going, and if you're not moving it out of your body, it'll go all into your brain. So that's the way you can prevent energy blockages. And also just by acknowledging your emotions and expressing them in healthy ways. Like you can talk through things with someone you feel close with, or just writing it out in a journal. It's like talking it out as well. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it did find something very, very helpful for you. I appreciate all of your views, subscribes, and all of that. And to show my appreciation, I will be coming back here more regularly, let's say once a week, and just doing my best to this a part of, a great ecosystem, a thriving ecosystem. Obviously, if I'm talking about planting seeds and investing, I want to invest here as well. So, not just for myself, but for all who find this helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you.